Thank for making this possible. Thank you, Tina.
Alright, so my legal disclaimer, I am in no way a public speaker, so just keep that in mind when you hear this information. I want to first of all thank everyone for coming out today and making this event so successful. It enriches my heart and my life to see so many different faces, so many different walks of life coming out to support human rights for everyone. This is something that I think we've been working on for a very long time, and it was something that we wanted to get involved with and bring all of these different people together to do. So thank you so much. Give yourselves a hand for coming out today. Right, I'm going to try and close up this caboose here. I am Tina Gaston, and I am a co-founder, along with Jared Carter here, of the Hands Up Northwest Arkansas movement. And that was created in response to some of the events in Ferguson, Missouri on August 9th when Mike Brown was killed by a police officer. In preparing for today's event, I conducted a blind study with 9 of my close friends. Now, I put emphasis on the word blind because they had no idea I was doing this, okay? So if you hear some information that you shared with me, sorry. But what I did is I asked 9 of my good friends who have children to get with them and ask their children what they thought equality was. Okay. And the children ranged in ages from 4 years old to 13. They were both male and female, and different children of all races. Now, the answers that I received were astonishing. Let me share some of those responses with you. I learned from a 13-year-old that equality is the open plain for the pursuit of happiness. I learned from a 4-year-old that equality means the same. And I learned from a 6-year-old that equality means that people are the same, and nobody should be treated differently because they're not the same. People should treat each other the way that they want to be treated. But most importantly, what I learned from these children's responses was that even in a world that's filled with never-ending technology and social pressures to a degree that previous generations have never experienced, at the base of it all, our youth are growing up learning that equality still stands for something and that it's important. We see this truth ingrained even in the youngest of my friends' children at 4 years old, and in that, I find hope. Equality is at the heart of arguably one of the nation's largest situations or social issues of this decade. The shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson at the hands of a police officer sparked national outrage, and I know that it sparked a lot of outrage here in our community of Fayetteville. That outrage was not only parallel, but some would agree it exceeded the outcry of the rage of the civil rights movement of the 1960s. In an area where socioeconomic and racial disparity has ruled the land for decades and generations, these types of atrocities bring to the forefront deeply rooted issues that have to be addressed head on in order to allow those communities to move forward to a point of healing, of partnership, and eventually equality. And that's what we have here in Fayetteville, okay? We have that here in Fayetteville. We have the pleasure of living in a community where, for the most part, people see each other for who they are and not what they are or what box they check on a standardized test for life, okay? Now, don't get me wrong, Fayetteville is by no stretch of the imagination Pleasantville, USA, where we reach some type of a utopia setting where we don't have issues, okay? We have had our own share of misconduct within our local police department. We've awoken to horrible news stories of transgendered members being slaughtered on Dixon Street by a group of male college students, okay? We've seen businesses with signs in the window stating English only, or heard of black people being called the N-word at sporting events. But we've also seen progressive change stem from the partnerships that groups of people that I see standing out here today are taking in solidarity with one another. Take a moment and look around at this crowd of individuals, okay? Represented here in this group of people, we have a multicultural, multi-gendered multi-generational group of people that are standing together, vowing to work together to keep Fayetteville fair. Now, in the coming days, weeks, and months, I challenge each of you to reach out to one another and offer of support, to reach out to one another and offer of praise, and understanding as we move forward in this partnership between our beloved community and our law enforcement. The mere fact that they were willing to come out here and stand with us is no small cry, and we need to give them applause for that. There are communities around this country where that would not be possible, so I want to make sure that we understand how important that is. The fact that we stand here together is as magical and yet natural a feat as a small child stepping out on their own for the very first time and taking their very first step. And I want to thank each of you for taking this step with us. So in closing, I want to leave you with a poem written by Mary Oliver called The Journey. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles, "Mend my life," each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough in a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the streets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. We know exactly what we have to do in order to keep human rights for all at the forefront of our day-to-day dealings with one another. Our cause is clear, our mission is very clear, and our time is now. Our time is now. We have begun. We partner to protect human rights for all to make sure that equality here in Fayetteville will be preserved not only for those in attendance today, but most importantly, for future generations. The journey begins today, and in that I find hope. Thank you.
So before we close out, I just wanted to share a thought that I've had for the past 2 days, and just need to get it out there. So I was thinking the other day, you know, our struggles between like black and brown and LGBTQ, and I saw something that I don't know exactly what that means, but LGBTQ and even the undocumented community, our struggles intersect on some really like depressing things, on persecution of our communities, on discrimination of our communities. But then I also thought to myself, you know, our struggles also intersect on something very beautiful, and that's unconditional love. Yes. Have you guys thought about that? Yes. They intersect on the concept of unconditional love and acceptance and just bringing each other together, and I think that's amazing. I think that has to be said, you know. And so before you guys leave here today, you know, I really want you to maybe approach someone that you never might have approached before, and, you know, say, you know, I love you and I'm there with you, and my struggle is with your struggle, and we're going to get out of this together. And so I just wanted to have that be said. I think some last instructions for us are to line up in front of the courthouse to show solidarity. So if everyone wants to line up here or across the street.
Right here.
Right here. Yeah, so everyone with their posters, if you don't have one, grab one, and we'll line up here. Yeah, we have extra like all around, so make sure to grab them as well. Thank you, everyone.
Be greedy, Jay.
Be nice to have people line up in the sunlight after they do this.
Maybe we can get them to line up right here in the shade. Is that a spot where you'd like
Well,
to get the pictures?
Pictures in the shade when there's sunlight in the background are not very good. But what I'm saying is, we want people driving by to see the sign.
Yes.
Stand out there for a few minutes. Well, just along this edge. Well, yeah, all along this edge. And then we can shoot the courthouse and then turn around.
I would love to have the
and
courthouse
stand
in the background.
and let them get the. We've got a lot of people passing. They need to see these
They need
signs.
to see the information,
Yeah.
absolutely. So tell me again what you need, what you would like.
Okay, well, I think we should do 2 or 3 kinds.
Okay.
If you can keep them moving around.
Okay. You guys have enough time to take a couple pictures, or do you need to cut out?
Really?
Giving information, and so it has to do with the type of teaching, school setting, the fact that we cloister kids into little prisons by themselves.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
You all are just incredibly beautiful. Just so you know that. That is so beautiful.
We're feeling beautiful.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
One more shot. Let's go.
Now we need to turn around and show those guys all those cars going by.
I'm going to grab my stuff.
Let's keep up.